Hello, my demons and ghoulies. Welcome back. I just wanted to say really fast, I was a little under the weather when I was recording this voiceover, but I ran out of time recording a new one, so you're going to have to bear with me sounding a little sick. But enjoy 2 speed paints in the meantime.
Hello again, my wonderful demons and ghoulies. It's Heximus in voiceover form now, back at it again with the first of 2 speed paints in this video. So, I'm sure many of you recognize this character. I've painted him on the channel exactly 572 times. Fun hex lore fact there for you. This is Bitesy. He's a vampire. As you can see, he has very beautiful eyebrows. You know, they actually remind me of a story of this man I met on my last vacation. His name was Giuseppe. He was a wonderful merchant selling tomatoes. I know I'm supposed to be talking about the art, but just bear with me here for a bit. This tomato story is important to Bitesy's lore here. So, you know, he was selling tomatoes, and he walks up to me and says, "Do you want a tomato?" And I go, "No, I don't want a tomato." But then he gave me these, like, puppy dog eyes, and was just like, how do you say no to that? And I thought, you know, these tomatoes are as bright as Bitesy's eyes. So, you know, I was kind of enthralled by that, and that brought about the inspiration for this piece here. Shout out to Giuseppe of Florence, Italy. You're a great tomato salesman, but man, those tomatoes were awful. But anyways, as you can see on the art, I've now given him arms. He can now grab things, and he likes to grab things. He's very good at grabbing things, as you may know. Vampires notoriously good at grabbing things. I like to use a lot of different colors in here, and obviously a lot of layers. How many layers is that? Oh my gosh, why'd I use so many layers? Anyways, that's not important, but I like a lot of layers. But it helps to add some texture to the art. Clearly, as you can see, it's some great stuff here. And oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call here. 1 second. Hello? Yeah, no, I'm not busy right now. I can try it. Yeah. Yeah, about 500. No, you tell him I need the money. What do you mean he doesn't have the money? Sorry, 1 second, Speedpaint. I need to deal with this right now. No. He said he'd have the money for those. What do you mean he doesn't have the money for those? Well then tell him to get the money. I don't know what you want me to tell you. You're in charge of this. I said you're in charge of the deal. You gotta figure this out. I'm not gonna hold your hand while you try and do this. Okay? Alright, I'm doing a speed paint here for my lovely viewers on YouTube, and you're distracting me. What do you mean I could pause the record? No, I'm not gonna pause the recording. I gotta get this done. Okay? Okay, bye. Well, that was the weirdest wrong number I've had. Anyways, where were we? So, with my character here, I decided that I wanted to make a piece of sort of his origin story. Of him first appearing as a weird, horrific vampire man here. And I took inspiration from the DC comic Man-Bat, except I decided that I wanted to make him hideous. So, as you can see, I did just that. I gave him this weird boomerang-shaped third eye, as many of you can see in this here. But, you know, Man-Bat's his inspiration, except that he's less bat and more horribly grotesque man. Which, you know, is something that people like. People like grotesque characters. Me included. I mean, you guys saw Hot Dog. I'm not saying he's grotesque, but he's pretty beautiful. I'd say. Let's talk about Hot Dog for a bit. You know what? I want to talk about Hot Dog. Everyone loves Hot Dog, and I actually named him that because my favorite food, this is Hex Lore. Make sure you put this down in your Hex Lore books. Open up to page 72. My favorite food is a hot dog. No onions, extra ketchup, a little bit of mayo drizzled on the right and the left, mustard put under the bun, and then you add the onions. See, no onions at first, but then you add the onions. Anyways, I'm getting off track of the speed paint. I'm sorry. I've gotten off track a few times here. But as you can see, this is sort of the shading part of things. Pinks and purples are very good for the shading here. Kind of adds a venular. Is that a word? Hold on. I'm pulling up a dictionary to see if venular is a word. You might hear my my keyboard here, but I need to see if venular is a word. Venule. A venule is a tiny blood vessel in the microcirculation that... Okay, so what I've learned here is the word I was saying doesn't exist. So I'm just going to pretend that I didn't say it, and we're going to move on with the speed paint here. Now, I moved to blue again. Back to the blue. Everyone loves to add some blue. That's me. I'm blue. Add some shading to my grotesque freak here. What was his name? Maybe I should call Hex and see what his name was for real. I mean, I'm Hex. Oh God, nobody's gonna believe this. I mean, anyways, so in this part of the art, I really wanted to focus in on the shading. I give him some fancy little diamonds in his eyes there. I meticulously, though, I forget the boomerang eye, as is tradition for a boomerang eye. This is some good water. I didn't pause the recording, but it's fine. I can't pause the recording. I'm legally unable to pause the recording. So, you know, as you can see here with the character, he really needs a dentist. And, you know, dentists don't exist in his lore universe. So we're just gonna say there's nothing to be done about this. He's just stuck like this. No plastic surgeons, no dentists, nothing. There's nothing he can do. Anyways, back to Bitesy here. While we're doing some shading, we'll sort of talk about his backstory a little bit, since this is his origin piece. Bitesy was made a vampire in 2020. Or was it 1920? It doesn't matter. Basically, he was bitten by a grotesque bat, a really gross bat, called the ugly fruit bat. Look it up. It's real. Actually, hold on. I don't think it's real. I'm gonna do more research. Hold on. Types of fruit bats. You know what? I'm gonna say it was the... Oh, why did I pick this? Cassincitaris. That one. I probably said it wrong, but that's okay, because nobody will prove me wrong on that. But anyways, he was bitten by a fruit bat, which means that he loves fruit. He can't get enough of it. He doesn't drink blood. He just eats fruit all day. He's a particularly big fan of papayas. You know, that was chosen not because I like papayas, just I thought papayas are pretty cool. But anyways, back to the eyes here now. You know, he's got these red eyes from eating so many papayas, and now I've made it really, really red, as you can see. I've gotten rid of all the details, and I've decided to make them even redder than before. Just follow the trust my process here. When have I ever led you astray? But just stick with me, camera guy. Come on. But what else did Hex want me to say in this speed paint? Hold on, I gotta give me 1 second. I mean, what did I write down in my notes? Because I'm Heximus. Anyways, back to Bitesy's here's backstory. So, anyways, he was bitten by the fruit bat, which turned him into a vampire that only eats fruit. Gave you a second there to sort of take it all in, because that's not something that people normally do. Oh, I'm done with the eyes. Okay, hold on. I'm going to the hair now. Back to the blue. Oh no, we're back. Okay, she's going too fast for me. I've added a 15th layer. I don't know what's happening. I mean, I did this. Anyways, back to the art at hand. So, obviously I'm doing all this because I'm super cool and good at art. I'm amazing. And now we're going into the details of the piece here. You know, we keep it going and stuff like that. And I'll add some further bits in here on the piece. Show you some of the details, and hold on, what's happening on my screen's freaking out. Oh, now he's in his demon fruit bat form, and hey, I wasn't done talking about that piece. Anyways, now I don't know who this character is. Who is this? I've never seen this character before in my life. I don't know what to say about this character. I know about Bitesy. I don't know who this is. But I do know about fish, which I can tell based on that outline that I have drawn of fish. See, what happens is there's so much paint in the studio, I forget what I'm drawing. Sorry, I had to take a swig of whiskey to get through this video. Anyway, so this is I don't know this character, so I'm just gonna give him a name. I'm gonna say Helzimus sounds about right. You know, this is evil Heximus. This is my evil twin. Oh wait, hold on. There's a key. This is Hex. Well, now this is just awkward. I forgot I drew me. Anyways, so I really like fish. This actually reminds me of a fun story. I know not normally many people when they're doing speed paints go on many tangents on stories, but this story is important. So there was this one time when I was scuba diving off the coast of Mali, you know, the island Mali. I think it's an island. Just stick with me. And I saw this fish. It was orange and blue with a little bit of purple mixed in. You following me? It was orange, blue, and purple. And I really liked that fish, so I just sort of grabbed it. Just started grabbing it, and I was like, I want this fish. And he just looked me in the eyes and went, please, no, I have a fish family. And then I let him go. And that's your tip of the day, to always listen to fish when they talk to you. And now we're going to get into the details of this fish here. You know, just some fish details. Not very... I can't even say it. Not very fishy. Anyways, there's some other fish in the pockets there. I think those are fish. Drawing another fish. There's going to be a lot of fish in here. Now, at the end of the piece, I want you to count how many fish there are. Just see how many fish there are in the piece and post that in the comments. But anyways, as you can see, this piece is all about fish and keys. Now, this is important to the lore of Heximus, because fish are the keys to the heart. Yeah. Does that make sense? Maybe I should message someone to see if that makes sense. Hold on. I'm gonna message. Does fish being the key to the heart make sense? They blocked me. Okay, so there's a lot more fish now. As you can see, there's a lot of fish. This is part of the Heximus lore Fishpocalypse. And now we're making blue. Blue's in. And, you know, I mean, if I'm gonna be watching this speed paint, hold on. Can't get this bag open. Aha! I'm gonna enjoy this. You know, I'm gonna enjoy this speed paint with you guys. I got some chips. There's a pretty good speed paint. You know, if I have to say so myself, as Heximus. There's a pretty good speed paint. One thing you'll notice is I keep going back because I don't own a mirror. I don't own a mirror, and I don't know what I look like or what to expect. See, I did it there. You saw it right there. I went back. I did it again. But, you know, there's a piece that's near and dear to my heart because it reminds me of that fish in Mali. I've already forgotten his name, but, you know, he was like, oh, please, I have a family. I already did that bit, but, you know, just so you know why I made all the fish. I've also been playing this, this fishing game which is also a little bit of the inspiration for this piece. It's Bass Pro Fishing 2007. I play it on my Nintendo Wii. It's a lot of fun. And man, you know, those chips I had before are pretty good. Hold on. Give me a sec. I can't. Chips stuck in the bag. But these also remind me of the fish because they're salty. And that also goes into the lore for this piece, because none of the fish are real, except for the one that's being held. And it's going, I just grabbed that one out of the water and it's just sort of there. But you know, love fish, love purple and blue and pink. As you noticed in the last piece, I was talking about that a little bit. I use it for a lot of shading. And this is a great piece of fish. I don't know what happened there for a second. You guys see that? It kind of became a blot of blue. But I'm starting to run out of topics for the speed paint here. We'll focus on the fish here. So the reason I chose these fish colors of sort of this salmon, which is for trout, that green fish there is for the green-billed bass, and the purple is for the notoriously famous purple wind sailor. If you haven't heard of the purple wind sailor, is a fish exclusive to the Bahamas and actually has a nutty taste, sort of like a macadamia nut. Anyways, I'm rambling. Back to the art at hand. A fun fact about speed paints for you, because you know it's good for me to cover art when I'm talking about this, is that this isn't even sped up. I just draw this quickly. You know, it's something that I've learned to do. I draw at supersonic speeds at about 45 miles an hour. I don't know what that is in kilometers for non-Americans, but just you can do the calculation myself. I also decided those stars on the shirt, get rid of them. I didn't want them. They will not be coming back. Those stars will not be coming back on the shirt. I decided I wanted to make it just purple, and trust me, I'm just putting in some detailing to replace the stars. The stars will not be coming back. Okay, well now this is just awkward, because now I look like the asshole, because now the stars are back. I'm gonna have to talk to Hex about that. I mean, I'm gonna have to talk to myself about this later, because those stars were not supposed to come back, and now I just look like a moron. I've just been talking to myself in a room, and there's the details. Add the details to the piece. Hex would set this all up so I'd look like an idiot. I mean, so I set this up so I'd look like an idiot. Oh, she's gonna roast me about my commentary. Oh, God. Anyways, we're getting the final details here on the piece. You know, put some details on the horns, the hair, the fish. I don't know what just happened there. I think I got taken over. But, you know, we got these details going, making sure everything looks great and nice. Add some little details of reflections from the great fish in the sky. You know, those salmon and trout and whatever I said the green one was. You know, this is where we add in the little final bits of shading, making sure that it really shines, really sparkles. Then we go into the really big screen here, and you know, wait, does that mean I'm going? Am I done? No, I still had like 50 minutes of commentary.